You can pretty much check out my elbow airflare tutorial in the description, because it's not that hard of a move, to be honest. So let's get talking about that elbow dab. So it's very simple. Once we throw an elbow airflare, you want to first land in a freeze. Now the way you do this is normally when you land an elbow airflare like this, you rotate forward and continue in any combo you want. Windmill, another elbow airflare, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, we actually try to stick out the arm. So you throw an elbow airflare, and the part where you land, you lock your shoulder. So it's to the side like this, and you lock this. This needs to stay locked, so it's going to go to the front, and it stays the same height. And then it's also quite handy if you don't dip this down, so you also try to lock a little bit the elbow. So when you do that, what will happen is you do an elbow airflare and actually land kind of in a freeze position for a split second, which we're going to use. So take a look, I'll do an elbow airflare, stick out the arm and leave it in the same position pretty much. So actually land a little bit in the freeze. See that? I'm actually throwing, but just simply sticking out this hand and kind of landing in a freeze position. So once you can do this more or less like that, you can actually create, well, anything you want, because you can actually take that freeze in different positions as you like. So that gives you a lot of freedom. It actually also helps a little bit with combinations. If you can land in a freeze, you simply think of it, okay, I throw elbow airflare to freeze, and now from the freeze I do this or that or this or that. But in this case, all we're going to do is stick out this arm like this. And what you're going to do is, normally, of course, your hand needs to be on the elbow. In this case, because we land more or less in the freeze, as soon as your hand goes airborne, so it's off the floor, you stick out this hand like that. And you can actually land on the wrist if you want, but be careful that you don't slap the floor. So just stick out your arm a little bit above the ground like this, from the freeze position, right? And then as you're already in the freeze, you can dip it on the floor to have a little bit more control. So when you do that, you get more or less that dab position, which is a cool effect, right? So let's throw that right now. I'll do elbow airflare. As soon as my hand leaves the floor, my right arm, stick it out like this, and land in that vogue or dab position, or any position you want actually, because you can also stick it, of course, somewhere else. So take a look. Right, land in that dab position. So from there, it's a little bit up to you how to create this. Basically what I did, as I landed here, I jumped back. So I sort of did double dabs. It looks like you're voguing on your elbow, so it's a cool effect. But it's up to you to create. As long as you can land in that freeze, and actually also throw from a one-hand elbow freeze, throw an elbow airflare, you can create a lot, guys. And it's such a fun move to do that, because actually all you have to think of is, okay, I'm gonna stick my hand on my chin, or I'm gonna shake my head around, because all you're doing is jumping into a freeze. And as you can hold that freeze a little bit, you can play with it. In this time we did the dab, but man, you can pretty much create anything you want. Also your legs, right? Okay, I'm in the freeze and I'm gonna put my foot in the L kick position or something like that. You can really play around with that and make your own stuff, and that's half the fun, of course, for if you, well, it's fun to do next level power, but it's also fun to create stuff like this, right? Yeah, so that's actually the move, guys. And then find little ways to create with this. If you stick out your hand to the front, you can actually rotate the arm around, give the illusion that you're spinning around, even though you're just dapping a freeze a little bit. It's a cool effect. So yeah, that's it, guys. Have fun with this move, or actually have more fun even with creating from this freeze. Try to take weird positions and then make your own little combos with them. Yeah, that's it. See you next time.